I'd like you to imagine something. First off, think of Toradora. Person A loves Person B, and Person C loves Person D. The problem is that Person B loves Person D, and that their feelings are mutual. The solution? Persons A and C team up to try to get with their intended love interest. It's a crazy, mostly upbeat love square with all sorts of hijinks and scheming. Now I'd like you to think of the 2013 rotoscoped nightmare, Aku no Hana. Now, believe it or not, Aku no Hana is actually my favorite manga series due to the nihilistic, self-destructive nature of the narrative. The main characters are scum in the lowest sense of the word, and every action made further destroys the lives of everyone involved, and no one comes out happy. What do these two franchises have in common? Well, imagine if Toradora was written by the author of Aku no Hana. That's how the currently airing Studio Lerche anime Kuzu no Honkai was described to me. And I've gotta say, it's a pretty accurate description. In this story, however, rather than Taiga and Ryuji, we have Hanabi Yasuraoka and Mugi Awaya. Since childhood, Hanabi has loved her new teacher, Narumi Kanai. Similarly, Mugi is desperately in love with his former tutor turned teacher, Akane Minagawa. But both having always viewed Mugi and Hanabi as children, fall in love with one another and maintain a light-hearted, flirtatious atmosphere whenever they're around one another. In an attempt to deal with the pain of watching their loved ones being happy with another person, Mugi and Hanabi set up a pseudo-relationship akin to a friends with benefits type situation, with the one stipulation being that they can't fall in love with one another. Unbeknownst to them, they each have their own longtime admirers. In Hanabi's case, a girl named Sanae Ebato, and in Mugi's case, another girl named Noriko Kamo Mebato, both of whom feel the exact same pain as Hanabi and Mugi. Up to this point, the plot is nearly identical to Toradora, with the major difference being the relationship between our two main characters, Hanabi and Mugi. This difference is one of the major factors as to why Kuzu no Honkai is so great. As previously stated, in an attempt to deal with the pains of unrequited love and jealousy, our two main characters use each other to satisfy their sexual needs and to project the mental image of their respected loves onto one another, even going so far as to call each other by their crush's name. This is the first great aspect of Kuzu no Honkai, the portrayal of this not as more unneeded fan service, but as a genuine last resort of the characters. The animation is beautiful and undoubtedly provocative, but it's never shown in the way that other anime would show their sex scene. Not only that, when one thinks deeply about the narrative as a whole while watching these scenes, they can send to genuine shivers down your spine. Kuzu no Honkai animates something that I've never seen shown in media, American or Japanese: the genuine toxic and self-destructive nature of teenage love. Most anime shows focus on high school relationships as the end-all be-all for romantic relationships. But think back to when you were in high school. Think of all the sadness and the horrible passions being produced by couples all around you, too emotionally immature to understand what it truly means to love. Now, I'm the first to defend the idea that teenagers can love, and in fact, I think that their hormones and unjaded outlook allow them to feel a more passionate love than any adult. But that's not to say that they know how to handle interpersonal relationships with any meaningful tact. This is one of the things that Kuzu no Honkai shows best, the genuine belief of Hanabi and Mugi that they can get away with only satisfying one another. One of the greatest pains can be felt in trying not to fall in love with someone despite always being close to one another. In this case, the constant hormone spikes created from sex have a very powerful effect, creating a supremely dedicated love. The battling against that will create nothing less than a genuine sadness and confusion. While watching these beautifully created and animated scenes, you're filled with the knowledge that for every second this continues, the two involved will hate themselves more and more. And that's not even getting into the mental traumas being imparted on these two by imagining someone else during this passionate session. The idea that people are role-playing as them while having sex would be disturbing and frankly creepy to either Narumi or Akane. And to make it worse, Hanabi and Mugi are aware of this, calling themselves scum multiple times, and heck, the show's name even translates to Scum's Wish. Most romance shows try to make the viewer want the main character to wind up with their opposite, but here you know that no matter what happens, no one involved will be happy. If Hanabi winds up with Narumi, the obsession and memories of what previously happened will create a very one-sided and emotionally unstable relationship. If she winds up with Mugi, the months of passionless firsts will weigh on them both, and their toll will create a deep insecurity in both parties. The highest chance for a healthy relationship would be for her to wind up with Ebato, but even that comes loaded with its fair share of worries. And the same is all true with Mugi and his respective love interests. When Ebato confesses to and kisses Hanabi, we start to see a mirror of Hanabi's own situation and what it would feel like if she were to confess to Narumi. Despite Ebato's genuine love, all it does is confuse Hanabi and make her unhappy. Hanabi is losing a friend through the confession, and as she had previously stated, there's nothing more revolting than the affection of someone you're disinterested in. Not only does this let Hanabi see her own situation from another perspective, but it manages to hurt yet another character, cementing the idea that love is pain. But in episode 4, we learn something that is capable of flipping everything on its head. It's a bit of a spoiler, so go ahead and watch episodes 1 through 4 if you want a clean viewing experience. You ready? Alright, let's go. In episode 4, we learn that Akane isn't as pure-hearted as we had previously believed. Previously, Akane and Narumi's relationship had been painted as the only healthy one in the show, but now we see that Akane is genuinely twisted. She enjoys making men fall in love with her despite not having any feelings for them. Her conquest of Narumi is now especially fun for her because she's realized how much she's hurting Hanabi in the process. Now that Hanabi knows this, it puts her into even further pain, causing her to act in different ways to all of the other cast members. Truthfully, I'm not sure how to react to this news. Both setups present their own unique conflicts, though I'm more inclined to favor the idea that Akane and Narumi is the only genuinely healthy relationship in the show, but wouldn't that kind of violate the point? Kuzuno Honkai is a show about toxic, scummy love, and in some ways supplies the idea that all relationships are inherently flawed. Who knows how the future 8 episodes will go, but as of right now, Kuzuno Honkai shows promise to be the best show of 2017, and it's already on my top 10 list. I hope that nothing will happen to reverse everything I've said here, but even if it does happen, think of this as a time capsule from before we've seen the ending. Hey guys, thanks a lot for watching this week's video on Kuzuno Honkai. When I first saw it, I absolutely knew that I had to talk about it. This is by far my favorite of the season, as long as, nothing terrible happens in the latter half. So I'm really hoping that doesn't happen. But anyway, if you'd like to support me on Patreon, you can do so over at patreon.com/senpizzle. I've already gotten more support than I was expecting, and every little bit is so hugely appreciated. You can also follow me on Twitter with the handle @senpizzle for any minor updates that I might wind up wanting to post. So hey, thanks again so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.